Welcome back to Conscious Evolution. I'm your host, AJ. I'm here with Case.
What's up?
I just wanted to do something, have something on camera. Like, we've been talking for like 12 hours about everything. So it's, in case anyone didn't believe me, here we are. We did our first, my first reconnection last night, and we're getting ready to do the second session. So just wanted to have them say hi to all of you and see what happens.
Hey, what's up? AJ, I love this guy. I just watched one of his first videos yesterday. Love it. Man, definitely subscribe and watch his stuff. He's on to something. Him and Bones. Yeah, great guys. And I mentioned that when I travel, the people I meet feel like family. And what do you think?
Yeah. Definitely.
There's we know each other on a different level. We know each other, and yeah, it's just nice to be hooking up with family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does blow my mind of how connected we really are. Like, just everyone that I've talked to that's interested in the reconnection or just this topic, you know what I mean? Everyone that seems to like be coming to my channel is like, there's a core group of us that just talk all the time, and we're so dialed in. Like, all our kids get sick at the exact same time, and it's just like so many synchronicities that it's really it still blows my mind. And it's been a couple months and it's always something new. It's always evolving into something.
That's
something else. Yeah, I know. It's like it's crazy, stop. And then more and more people keep joining in, and it's it's like as soon as you talk to somebody, within a couple minutes, like that you're on that same wavelength with them, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
And that increases too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You sometimes in life you're like, wow, I think I can feel people's energy. I think I can feel like what they're thinking or how they feel. But now it's like, nobody can kid you that you feel what is going on. Like we were just talking about how I had just had a situation where I just walked into this room and everybody was like, "Hey, how you doing?" They're like, "Oh man, we're doing great." I was like, "Bullshit." Like, I don't know what the hell just happened in this room before I walked in, but it's not all great. So you can just, like, that feeling, that ability to tap into other people's, how connected we are, it just increases. And I guess the best way to say is, your bullshit meter becomes so strong that you just, you know.
That's a good way to put it.
You know.
That's kind of what I was going to say, that if I'm around someone that's in like a negative energy field, I mean that, like, I physically feel uncomfortable around them.
Yeah,
because it's just how it feels. I pick up on that so strong, and I don't have to be this close. I mean, we can be across the room from one another, and I feel it. It's intense.
And I think old souls, that's very, very common, is that old souls, you can feel someone's energy, and in the past, we would, to be able to relate to them, we would match their energy. Mm-hmm. But we can't do that anymore. Like, you can still feel their energy, but you have to be you. You have to keep your frequency high instead of matching their frequency, because that's the problem. Is we allow these people to affect our frequency. If you really want to help those people, you do not match their frequency. You stay where you're at. You're actually doing them a disservice by matching their frequency. And it gets easier and easier to be able to rise above the negativity that you're surrounded by. But there is a point, no matter who you are, where you have to break free. You cannot continue to be put in a situation of, like, let's just say like a low frequency environment, because that will, no matter who you are, that will start affecting you. But I think with this reconnection, and I think with this awakening, that people on the inside, they go, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Like, I have, for me, I have to move on. And it just becomes easier to move on.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like whoever's not matching your vibration will, in one way, shape, or form, just kind of fade away.
Yeah.
If they can't elevate their vibration,
yeah.
Because that's the vibrations. They just want to come to a level, playing field. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier for someone in the negative to bring you down than it is for them to raise theirs. So that's what they're going to try to do, because that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you have such a big polar opposite.
Totally.
And I've said that so many times. I think you've said it too before. That, it's I've actually noticed a few times where people like that are just really negative, and I come up to them like smiling and like, "Hey, how's it going?" They'll like walk around and away from me, not even engaged. Like,
Totally.
That's interesting.
I've had a couple relationships that were not, and they were long relationships with good friends and really good friends. And after I got reconnected, I just could no longer play that role anymore. I couldn't be that person that they told me their bullshit to anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I had to sever those relationships. And then a couple years later, we're back to being friends, but they're a different person. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm creating a different version of them, or if I'm creating a different version of them. And so the baggage that old relationship had is not there. And so now it's like this refreshed new relationship that's much healthier for everybody.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't take it anymore. So I just had to, and it was easy. Actually, it was easier than I thought, because it's almost like the relationship was so close. It was like a family member. And, family can be obviously the biggest pain in our asses, but they are also our best teachers. And sometimes, when I mentioned, if you have how most parents have screwed up, most of us. Parents, damn. I can make a series of videos on that and why we chose those parents to go through that. But it can be the tough. And, when I say, if you're in a situation with your parents and it's just so depressing and so low frequency, you got to get away. And people say, "Oh no, but we're in these relationships to learn." Well, maybe what you're in the relationship to learn is you got to get away, and you'd be surprised when you get away, and then when the time's right, that relationship rekindles. It's different
in a healthy
way,
and
it's healthier.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthier for them. And I will say one more time that the biggest disservice you can do for that person that you love, that is this drain on you, is to not be yourself. And sometimes being yourself means you have to get away. So
that's crazy that you said that, because that's very, very much relates to my situation right now with family members. Mm-hmm. and I just got to get away from them. And it's like I got away and then I went back, you know what I mean? And then it's like I'm trying to find a happy ground, hoping things will change, and it just...
And when kids are involved, it's an extra layer.
Yeah, it's just making it that much more difficult. Yeah. But things are ramping up. I'm holding a lot more light, and they're going that other direction. And it's just but we're just clashing. And then there's a little bit of time where it's like okay, but even when it's okay, it's just like we're tolerating each other. You know what I mean? It's not healthy. it's not like no one is growing. It's like I'm being affected, and I feel like I'm being constricted there. Like my energy is just being sucked out of me.
Yeah.
And it's, I left, and I probably didn't give it enough time. You know what I mean? Because I know in time that, just like with yours, it'll kind of come
one
around.
metaphor you could use is, it's kind of like this. Maybe this isn't appropriate, but it's kind of like tipping over a vending machine. Like, you can't just go over and like tip over a vending machine. You have to like get it rocking. You got to get the momentum. So you're in it and you're out it, and you're in it and you're out it, and then finally you can push it over. So, you say you went back too fast. Well, that's, that's the rocking back and forth, and eventually you'll just
find a way.
And I would really like to I need to make some videos on parenting. I don't like when anybody gives me any advice on parenting at all. So that's a very touchy subject. But yeah, I don't know. I just leave it at that. It's a very touchy subject. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we all have those.
Yeah.
Mine's organized religion. That's
yeah. Oh yeah. I have, and that's so funny because I have this thing about organized religion. But in this life, I was never forced to go to church. There was in this life, there was none of that.
Okay.
Nobody ever told me I was going to hell until I started making YouTube videos.
Naturally.
But I was never. But when the subject came up, and for some reason, like when I was in college and I was an artist, I made all these series of artwork on these Native American kids that were taken from their families, and their heads were shaved, and they were they had their brooms, and their heads were shaved, and they were taken away from their parents, and they were being taught to not be heathens. And dude, something in me was so strong that I made a whole series, almost like 6 months worth of artwork on that, which I found interesting because I don't know, there's something there. Like I'm feeling a different life. Like I believe that in one of my lives that's playing out right now, because there is no time, that I was a Native American Indian, and the church came in and took my kids away from me because it's so real. But that didn't happen in this life.
No.
But there is something I have against being judged by organized religion that is so deep that I feel like I've been ridiculed by organized religion for thousands of lifetimes. And so, maybe that's something I'm here to heal in this lifetime. Because we're all here to heal something. And right now the energy on the planet is so off the charts that you can't hide anything. So this is a very important time to go inside and to and just to become conscious of your thoughts, and because what you need to heal is going to be running through your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and we can't push them down anymore. So yeah, it's a good time to be alive.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. I like to think of it too as we're setting the foundation, we're building the foundation for like our kids and this energy, you know what I mean? So there's so much that like I want to accomplish with everybody involved in this. One thing at a time. But yeah, if there's something that you need to heal with yourself, and if you've noticed something just coming to the forefront of your mind, like really randomly, that's what you need to heal. Like that's coming up for a reason. And if it's, if it's a great experience or something, then no. But something, something you've had an issue with or something. Because with me, that just kept happening. Everything, like all my fears were coming up, like one at a time. Just gave me time, and then you gotta heal that. You gotta work through that, and then if you don't do it, if you don't really heal it, it'll come back, and it'll keep coming back. Yeah, until you figure it out. And
there is one thing to that, though. You said that the happy thoughts. And sometimes it's really good to just wallow in that happy thoughts, because you need to wallow in the happy thoughts.
Yeah.
Because that's, that will help you, reboost your energy to deal with whatever you're facing right now.
Yeah.
But let's not get too caught up in the negativity, because you are creating what you focus on, and that is getting faster and faster. And I do think that as your consciousness expands, you create faster and faster. And so the more you awaken, the more you want to let go of focusing on what you don't want, because you're going to create more of it faster and faster.
Yeah. So we were talking about last night with the love or fear train.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got to pick that train you wanna be on, and before long you're gonna be stuck on that train. So if you don't want to live your life in fear, guilt, and shame, maybe you should try the love train out. See how that one feels for you.
Yeah.
I'd much rather be there than the other one.
Or at least question why. Go deeper.
Yeah.
Why do I feel depressed? Like, why? Because it really comes to, like, how's it feel? Dude, if you have beliefs that don't feel right, they're not right. Like if you think that everybody that doesn't accept Jesus Christ as their Savior is going to hell, does that feel right to you? Like, if it does, then that's cool. But dude, how can that feel right? I mean,
no.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's When I first started awakening and going to the spiritual side of it, because you get through the whole everything you've ever been told to lie,
and then it's like everything's screwed up. We're manipulated. We're controlled. Okay, that's cool. You're on the right track, but there's another step, and that next step is it's a different awakening, and it's the awakening where you become untouchable, and that you're literally creating your life, and all this shit you've been worried about, you realize that you're feeding into that, and it's affecting you more and more. But you can take your attention away from that and create a different life. You don't, because I absolutely don't feel victimized by anything.
No.
Like, I accept full responsibility for everything that comes into my life. I do not feel, but I did feel like a victim for decades in my life. I mean, it's not like I had this like crazy happy life, like I dealt with the same shit everybody else is dealing with.
Yeah.
Just horrible relationships. My parents divorced when I was 5. My mom's an alcoholic. She drank herself to death. Abusive stepdad. Yeah. We all got that shit. I mean, I'm not diminishing. I'm not diminishing at all. But I'm just saying, like, don't get caught up in your, why me? Why'd this happen to me? Because, dude, it's happened to everybody. And, but there's a reason it happened. You chose those parents. You created those relationships for a reason. And as soon as you learn that reason, you're free to create a new you, a new version of you, with new relationships and new beliefs, and it's funny looking back. It's easy to do, but I guess at the time it wasn't easy to do.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I literally I don't even remember not believing what I believe now.
That's awesome.
Like I don't remember being a victim. I know I was.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was on the news, and I was one of those, like, Alex Jones prison planet guys, and, like, fucking everybody, like, oh, my God, the Archons, and, like, the reptilians, and, like, the governments, and the Federal Reserve, and, like, the blah, blah, blah. But that, like, after a while, like, my life wasn't any better.
No.
Like, actually, it's worse. And I really felt like, the more I researched how control we were, I felt like I was getting this energy from it, because it would excite me. It would, like, there's something, I'm like uncovering something.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit, man.
I never thought of it like that.
I thought that it was giving me energy, and it was just keeping me in a box. And luckily, I stumbled across some information that allowed me to kick those walls down. And once I kicked the walls down, my life changed.
Yeah.
And
that's my first several videos. Was I literally was always talking about your box, your box of understanding, your box of beliefs. Like you gotta expand your box, and then that's how it starts. And then you just break all the walls down. Don't you always accept new information. Whether no matter what it is, always be open to it, because the the truth is so much stranger than fiction. And the only thing I know for sure is that I really don't know anything. So approach things like that. It's like there's no limit to what you can learn, and then you can start with your discernment to like how you feel when you hear certain information that you just know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You just know that's real, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And yeah, I never thought about, like, with the whole, like, conspiracies and everything. You're going down that rabbit hole, and how that excites you, especially like when you start connecting certain dots. You get
You're like, oh
thrill,
yeah,
and that kind of feeds into more, and they go deeper and deeper. But it's
the reality is you are such a powerful being that you're actually feeding this, we'll say, this low frequency controlling aspect. They feed on fear, and so you're actually feeding them what you're trying to uncover and discover. You're feeding into them, and I decided a long time ago that I'm not going to give them a fucking snack. So
Kryon said something I heard the other day that really resonated with me. He said that all those fear feeding,
mm-hmm.
that we created them.
Yeah.
They're
us.
Right. We made that, and then we feed it. It's our creation, and we're nourishing it with the constant fear. So all you have to do is know that, and shine your light.
Yeah.
I
always thought it was interesting that, like, you were like, oh my God, we were disconnected. Like we were, like, you could, if you want to go back to, I guess I just my mind went blank. I was thinking about because it's one of my favorite creation stories. Oh my God, Sumerians, Anunnaki. Yeah. So and that is one of my favorite. That resonates with me quite a bit. But the fact that we were unplugged, we were disconnected, and we were left with just this survival instinct, and we lost ability, the multidimensional aspects of ourselves. So we were unplugged and left with the bare necessities. And people, it would be easy to go and start feeling a victim, and that this was done to us. But I believe that we are such badasses that we allowed ourselves to be disconnected, so we could experience this illusion of separation, and to make our way back to the light. I think that we're all badasses, and we've and most people, when they start to wake up, they're blinded by what they see. Like, when they see how magnificent that they are, and they're actually creating their life, and that they're eternal being, and we're down here playing a game, it's too much for them. And so they quickly go back to, their software, what they've been programmed to believe.
That's
because that software is written by the time you're about 6 or 7. Like, you're hardwired by then. And until you go in and reprogram yourself, you are going to be living in the box that was created when you were about 7 years old.
Yeah.
And from all the people that I've been with in my sessions and in life, damn, those boxes are small, and parents are screwed up, and they, like my higher self is always like, well, they were doing the best they could. Like the parents, they were doing the best they could with what they had at the time. They like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It wasn't an old energy. It's a whole new paradigm now. Everything's completely different, I feel. But I mean, yeah, I mean we chose that. We chose that's what we were going to experience, and I think that's part of the challenge. That's why that veil's put up, that we forget when we come into here, so we can kind of get rooted into this world, and then as we grow up, that's the challenge. Are we gonna connect the dots? Are we gonna get the connections from your higher selves or guides or whatever it is, and see the synchronicities and come out of that to awaken to your God self, and how powerful you really are. And that in itself is an amazing feat. So if you've gotten to that point, bravo.
Absolutely.
Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then you just keep learning and evolving, and that's the part with this reconnection too. I feels like it kind of is like a fast track to your evolution. You know what I mean? Because it's reconnecting you with your true self, your multidimensional self.
Something's happening.
It's just it's hard to put into words, but yeah, there's something major going on.
It's almost like the universe. It's like a loophole in this matrix to break free from it, or like a lifeline.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I honestly feel that with 100% of the people that I facilitate their reconnection, that we build walls up in our life, especially when we're young, and parents say very mean things or treat us bad or do awful things to us. We build walls, and we want to protect ourselves. And then we grow up, and we have these walls around us, and we feel completely disconnected from reality. And somehow, these frequencies are finding the cracks in those walls, and they will start to crumble those walls. So I might reconnect somebody, and like the next day, they might feel like a completely different person. Or you might reconnect someone, and it takes a while for their walls to start coming down, and for them to see the different connections and see the different layers of their own reality. And so I do this work with 100% knowing that it will unfold in everybody at whatever rate that they're capable of. I mean,
yeah.
I could say that if you have a very, 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 very traumatic childhood and you've had a very traumatic life, that it might take longer. But then tomorrow I might see somebody that very, very, very traumatic, experience is what made them happen so fast. So I don't know. I literally don't know.
Yeah, we speculate on so many things based on our experiences and what we see. But that's why I love the saying. It's the only thing I know for sure is that I don't know anything.
And that is so freeing.
Yeah,
that is so freeing, because I do think that when you as soon as you start to know something, you're really limiting.
Yeah. It's just another box.
Possibility. It's just another box. But it is nice to feel like you know something. Like don't, let's not be full of shit. You know what I mean? Like I do feel like I know some stuff, but then if I discover that wasn't complete, my so-called knowing was not complete.
You're not going to
I'm
destroy
it. I actually not destroyed, but I actually enjoy finding out that I'm wrong. Because, to me, we were talking about that video with my son. I have this ability, and I don't know why, but I have this ability to consider my beliefs is like Legos. And so I don't really get, I'm not my beliefs. So I know that I'm not my beliefs. So when I find one of my beliefs is limited, I just switch it out. Like, I mean, there's no, I'm not my belief, so it's like a game. So if I say, well, this is what's happening here, and then I realize, whoa, that's not a complete picture. That's no. Then I just take that belief out and
put it on the shelf.
Put it on, like, throw it away, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't need that fucker anymore. Yeah. So I don't know. I think people believe that they're their beliefs, and once you realize you're not your beliefs, then you can create. You're basically like, what type of life would I like? I would like a partner in life that supports me. I would like I would like to, I want a relationship that's healthy, that's supportive. I want, a job that I love. When you're thinking about those kind of things, well, you can literally just go back into your past and change your past that creates the life where that's going to happen. Because whenever you think about the past, that's not the past.
No.
You're recreating that past in the present. And so if you're going to be recreating your shitty past, why not create a different past?
Yeah.
And that's why I always had a problem with psychologists, because I just think that it's such a backward, so you're going to fix your current problems by going back into the horrific events. Reliving those. So when you're reliving those, you're actually recreating, you're drawing future experiences to you that match your present. That is insanity. I've always inherently felt that the approach to psychology and psychiatrists was backwards, and I didn't understand why. It didn't make any sense to me, and now it makes perfect sense. I could be wrong. Who cares? But I do know that you can absolutely recreate your past, and if you don't think that you can recreate your past, you don't understand how you're currently remembering your past, because what you're remembering, I don't think that's what really happened. Like, there's all kinds of perspectives on what happened.
Exactly.
So, once again, I think we're just creating these boxes.
Yeah.
And
that's what Bashar says, that, say Bashar. You have I know. Yeah. I would have never probably listened to any channel messages if you said something about Bashar, and then 3 months later I saw the link and opened it up, and then I was like, it's not about where the message is coming from. It's about that information. Yeah. Don't judge the source.
If you watch 5 minutes of Bashar and you don't know nothing about Bashar, you're like, this dude's a lunatic. This is bullshit. This is not. And if you watch 30 minutes of Bashar, you're like, this is gold.
He gets it.
This is it. So it's fantastic.
But and the one thing he says is that, say you have an addiction and you are an addict, and the society teaches you that you're always an addict. You're always going to have that addiction, even when you get clean. Well, no, because if you shift your mindset, if you stop with that addiction, and you're recreating the past almost, because if you shift, you get clean of that, and you completely change your mindset, then you never had the problem. You never were an addict. That goes through shifting through parallel realities, billions of times per second.
Most people can't deal with that we're actually shifting through parallel realities. But that's a fact. Mandela effect,
that's the only thing that makes sense for the Mandela effect. That's the only thing.
That's because that's what's happening. Yeah. I think
that's the only thing that makes sense. Where a group of people will remember it one way and the other group will remember it a different way. Because that's what I struggle with. How is this possible? Is it CERN? Is it this? Is it that? Yeah. But then I heard that it's so elegantly simple. We are agreeing on a reality as a mass, as the collective, and that's what we portray and what we see, and those are the realities that we're into. But if you switch your mindset, then maybe you know, because we're all connected, we're all part of this consciousness. So maybe that group of people that are on that same frequency of consciousness, or you know what I mean, that whatever, you know what I'm saying, hopefully. Uh, so they shift and they'll have an experience of one thing, but that doesn't agree with the mass population. So then that's
or maybe they're shifting also, but they're just not conscious of, because I think as your consciousness expands, you become more aware. And so we're starting to become aware of two different realities at the same time. Whereas someone that's living in more of a box, as soon as the idea that something in the past has changed, it doesn't fit into their box. So they can't accept it. And so you'll see that blank face. But that's cool.
But then someone that does believe that, they can shift and it'll be different.
I mean, the only reason they can't accept it is because that's what they were taught. And then their parents were taught that. And so, you know, you can... It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Like it just is what it is. And there's no reason to judge somebody for anything. Like we're all just doing the best we can, trying to figure out this game of life.
Yeah.
And but there's clearly something happening with these frequencies, and it seems to I think what it is I think that we all have an internal guidance system. Every one of us, and somehow these frequencies are turning that on, and so we're always you just know what's right for you. Like what's right for me is not right for AJ or for other people, but I know what's right for me, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You have your own internal guidance system. And I think it goes back to like when you're a kid, we put these walls up, and these walls to protect us, and these walls don't allow us to trust ourselves. And really all you have to do is trust yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, because notice the feelings you have when you have some of these, you know, when you find yourself saying something that you've been told by your parents or told by culture. When you say it, just feel like, does this feel right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe some people don't feel that, but
yeah. Well, I think a lot of people don't, but I think once you start becoming aware of these things, that you might do something you've been said over and over again, and I can't think of anything specific, but that's definitely happened to me where it's like I start to say it, and I'm like,
why do I say
that's not even part of my world anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, you pay attention to that. You know, it's amazing to me how, like, your cellular structure will react to information. It's all frequency, and you're 70% water and you're liquid, you know, and that reacts to frequencies. So, you know, if there's a low frequency, it's, you know, like that they froze the crystals, water crystals. Can't think of his name.
Masuto.
Yeah, Dr.
Emoto.
Yeah, I did a video on that a while back, but and me and Bosie talked about this on our show this morning, that absolutely will affect you. So your thoughts and the words that you speak, if they're in a hate vibration or frequency, imagine what that's going to do to your body, to the water, blood, everything in your cells. It's going to create chaos. But if you are thinking and speaking about love, or just being in that love frequency, or you know, forgiveness, peace, whatever it is, then that will completely change your body, your cellular structure. It's crazy for me to think about that, because it's just,
I don't even allow my kids to say the word hate.
Yeah. That's what I've caught myself saying that, because, you know, it's like, you know, just a little thing, like, man, I hate that. And I'm like, why?
Because
like, that's such a strong word.
Hate is such a strong emotion. And the thing is when you say, like my kids would be like fighting or something, and say, oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
It's like, don't ever say that. Because first of all, it has crazy emotion behind it. But when you think about something with a strong emotion, it brings it faster and faster. I go, so basically when you say you hate your brother, not only are you're creating a version of him, a stronger version of him that you don't like.
Yeah.
Like you can say, I don't like the way you act. I don't. It hurts me when you do this, but don't say I hate you.
Yeah,
because
then you're gonna bring out that person.
Not only you're gonna be creating more of a version that you hate.
Yeah,
and
that's
it.
I am with my kids right now. I keep saying stupid. I'm really trying to break that. It's just stupid. It's stupid. You're stupid. Like, stop. Like, no.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah. All right. Oh, wow. We did 40 minutes. Holy crap.
Okay, let's do your reconnection.
Yeah, we got to do the reconnection before I get kicked out of here. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, dude.
Appreciate it. And Case also said he was going to do some shows with, the whole video chat thing on the computer, so we'll get that set up in the future. Give him a chance to settle in.
How many times can you say the same thing though? Like I see some of these guys that I see some of these spiritual channels, and they release 2 videos a day.
Oh yeah.
What do you got to say?
Yeah.
I'm already redundant. I'm gonna make 50 videos, and I'm already saying the same stuff over and over. But
you just say it in different ways.
You say it in different ways, but there's not that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I think the way you say it a different way may resonate with a whole other group of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Okay, man.
All right, let's turn this off. Yep. All right. Welcome back. Man, we just finished part 2 of the reconnection. Pretty crazy. I just I really let go this time, I stopped thinking about stuff. I kind of looked up into the back of my head so I didn't see him or his hands even with my eyes closed this time. The first time I just see everything, I see it all. So I just let go and I stopped thinking about it. I got out of my head, and I felt the energy so much more this time. I just felt like I was engulfed with them, engulfed with these frequencies. And, I had a couple muscle spasms that were really going. I don't think my body was really moving, but I could feel the muscles, in my arm and my leg, kind of just twitching or pulsing a little bit. It was pretty wild. And other than that, I just enjoyed laying in the frequencies for 30 minutes, last night after the first session, I felt like I weighed 50 pounds, man. I didn't feel any pressure on my feet when I walked. My back didn't hurt. I was in the car for a long time yesterday. I'm gonna be in the car for a long time now. It just felt fine, felt good. And same thing today. Feel good. That's freaking awesome. Now I gotta drive all the way back, which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks I have to rush out of there. But I did a video with Case. We did ended up being 40 minutes long. That's why we had to rush out of here after the session, because it was checkout time. So yeah, I'm gonna put all kinds of video stuff together, and I'm gonna post a trip so everybody can see kind of how everything went. I didn't get any footage of the session. I don't have any really strong registers. So I wasn't moving around or nothing. So I just, just seeing Case doing the session. So that's why I did a video with them, and I was kind of in disbelief. It felt so natural just talking with him. And I mean, we have such a good vibe, we feel like we're family. It's just so perfect, it just feels so right, It's really, truly amazing. So thank you, Case. I love you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna keep everybody posted as I go through this training for the reconnection frequencies, and I don't know how difficult it's going to be to get trained to do the reconnection now. Apparently it's a little different than it used to be, but you know, I looked it up online and I didn't see anything about it, so I'll have to dig into it a little more. Maybe Case will know someone or know an event that I can maybe attend in the next year or two, which is, yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody, I love y'all. I love you all. Be the change that you want to see in the world, and just love everybody. You know, most importantly, love yourself. Okay. All right. Bye bye.